So in the previous video, I just used these little blocks down here just to explain to you the concept of moving and copying and then making multiple copies based on that. Now, obviously I want to get rid of those now because they're not part of this model. So I'm just going to move my view around here like that and then use my selection mode where I'm selecting everything within my marquee in order to select those really easy. Okay. Alright, so I have my slots now, and I'm going to just keep my drawing nice and neat by getting rid of the guidelines that I don't need. And I can now use the push-pull tool to make this 18 millimeters thick, which is the correct thickness according to the booklet. 18 wide. I'm sure it says on here somewhere the thickness. Let's have a look. Okay, well it doesn't say the thickness, but actually the thickness is 18, so I should probably fix that on the booklet. Now, I can't remember now whether I actually made it the correct size. Oh, yes, I did. Okay, so now that it's 18 thick, I can triple click on it, make it into a component, because I'm now going to use this for the next step of building my product. Alright, so go back to the booklet, and we have these cross members here, 18 thick, and you can see actually, you can actually kind of work out the thickness that the side part that I just made needs to be by looking at this little slot here, at this distance here, part of this cross member. Now that's the next thing I'm going to build, and it's 450 wide. The slot is 30 deep, because you can see 80 minus 50, and it's 18 thick. So remember that distance of 80. All right. So now a lot of people would then start making this separately and then move it into place. It's actually a much easier way of doing it, but if you use the existing piece that you've made, if you've done it accurately, you can use it as a real quick way of helping you to build the next thing you need to make. Now, as you just saw, this is already a component, so I can use this without worrying about making any negative impacts on it to build the next thing. So I've drawn a rectangle in there, and I know that the piece I need to build is 450 wide. So I'm just going to push-pull that to 450. And there's my first part. Now, it's not finished yet, of course, because you can see from the booklet the shape has this little cutaway part in it, but that's also extremely easy to make by doing the following. So I'm going to take my pencil tool and I'm going to draw from that point there to that point there. And you may not have seen anything happen. It doesn't look like anything's actually happened, but actually if I move that slightly away, you can see I've drawn a line on the rectangle. So I'm just going to undo what I did by doing Control Z, and then in order to allow me to do the same thing at the other end, I'm going to make a copy of this side piece by using the move and copy function, picking it up, hitting the Option key, picking it up by that corner there, dragging my copy across until it snaps onto that corner there, which allows me to take my pencil tool and draw a line in much the same way as I did before, right there. Okay, so I now have the basic sizes of my table, because The two sides are 450 apart, as they should be according to the drawing. All I need to do now is make this part the correct height, which is 80, which means I need to drag it down by 50. Now, if we just very quickly hide these two guys here, you can see that I now have my rectangle, and because I drew these lines on it, I've now split the surface at the bottom into three. That surface there, that surface there are all separately selectable, which means I can use my push-pull tool to drag that down by 50 without it affecting the other parts. And now that is all I need to do to make that cross member. So I'm going to make that into a component. And bring back the two side pieces. And in much the same way, in fact, in exactly the same way as I multiplied this shape that I drew in order to make the slots, I can now do exactly the same thing with this cross member in order to make all 9 of them. So, move tool, hit the option key, which gives me the copy function, and I'm going to pick it up by that corner, take it up here, snap it onto that corner. And just like I did before, I hit /8, and that gives me all the copies I need in between. Which gives me my product, except for the final feature that I need to make, which I'm going to do in the next video.